I'm backstage. Am I on here?
You're on here. I thought you were on the
Bro,
phone,
what
man.
what is this? I thought this was I've never done this before.
You're like I'm backstage, and I thought you were on the phone, and I'm like, I'll let you talk, man. Take a minute, man.
Oh, it said I'm backstage. What is this? Oh, we're
This
streaming.
Yeah, no, we're not live.
Okay, okay.
I'm using a platform that I used to go live just to record. I'm
Okay.
I'm hoping that it does, man, because I've had issues like lately that like I might be changing platforms, but it's been glitchy as hell. So I'm hoping that we don't run into that. If I look weird or laggy, to you, just let me know. All good.
The only you are chopping up a little bit, but I think the no, the I think you're good. The only thing weird is that your chain is half in and half out.
Now it's fully out.
N- I think we're golden now.
All right, cool, man. Well, I appreciate you jumping on with me, and I'm not going to take too much of your time, and I'm not going to waste a lot of time with intros. I'll chop this up, so we'll just kind of keep it casual and whatnot. Um, but anyways, yeah, man, I've been dying to talk to you. It's like, and I still consider myself pretty new to your music, and like it's crazy having like obviously I'm sure you've seen like a reaction or two of mine, having those channels. Like it's wild, like because I'm like I grew up in California, right? But I'm a rap fan. Like I grew up on rap and punk music of all things, right? Um, so it's I always get excited when I get to dive into your stuff, man. And you got crazy talent, so I'm excited to see where it takes you. But anyways, yeah, thanks for jumping on. Let me jump through a quick intro real quick. So guys, welcome back. We got Token on. We're going through a quick kind of Q&A. I'm gonna call this. You, I'll show you the thumbnail. You'll get it. I'm gonna call this behind the bars. We're just gonna ask some questions and kind of get to know, like, because you have a lot of you have a lot of songs that some of them are like, especially some of the stuff recently, the recent album like goes deeper into you. They seem a little bit more personal, and then you have some songs that are just kind of dirty and just kind of just that might not be super personal. You're just talking shit and something, so but I wanted to kind of dive back, into your brain and kind of where all this came from, because you obviously you don't, if somebody were to pick out the ideal sort of mold, quote unquote, for a rapper as far as what society thinks they're supposed to look and sound like, you may not really be that, but dude, but you crush it, man. Um so I'm gonna dive in. I guess we'll run it back to kind of where it started. I mean, I might know the answer to some of these questions, but some of the viewers might not. So where are you from? How'd you get into rap? What are the first kind of sort of influences, that that where'd you sort of start out?
Yeah, so I'm from Massachusetts. I'm the North Shore of Massachusetts. So I grew up originally in Salem, where the witch trials were. I'm not a witch, but and Marblehead, which is like a nicer town next to it. And I kind of like bounced back and forth growing up. And starting out, dude, I started listening to rap. My earliest memories was listening to rap. I got an older sister that she's like 6 years older than me, and she was listening to shit early. So she put me on to like Pac and M and like Ludacris. Those were like my top three when I was like 5 or 6 or some shit. And my dad made music too, so music was always like in the house. But it was really my sister that like you know showed me rap, and my parents got me like like a MP3 player. I remember like being in preschool with an MP3 player, like listening to music. So really, like my earliest memories were were about rap, and it really like I felt, I had a young ass brain, so hearing guys like M and Pac tell their stories, I felt like they were literally like part of my family. And a lot of the times when like I felt like distant from my family or kind of like crazy and like yeah, I would like for real like turn to them as like and people in my life. Like I would dream about them and like and yeah, so it was it's been like a part of my life since like my earliest memories.
That's wild, man. And like, I mean, you saying you had an MP3 player in like elementary school kind of dates me. Because I mean, I'm much older, but like I was carrying cassettes around, and but Pac was my favorite rapper growing up. Being a West Coast dude, that's kind of my guy. I would have thought that would have been before your time, but I guess not, because like I guess music is transcendent when it comes to age ranges, and you find what you find and you hear what you hear.
Yeah. It was ahead of my time, like or before my time or whatever. But my sister, that's just what like my sister put me onto. Um and then like yeah, later on I got into like what was more current, but I would just literally at that point just listen to whatever she put me onto.
That's dope. Pac's a poet, man. He doesn't spit like you spit, but he's you're a little faster with some things than what he does. But cool. So looking back at like your earlier viral videos, do you feel like you still relate to like an older version of yourself, or do you feel like there's been a progression as far as how you're kind of understanding and kind of adapting to your own self in your music?
I definitely feel like, I adapt. I guess what I relate to that kid, it's interesting. I think like the older you get, you have more time to think about things and like break down like why you love something or why you do something. Or back then it was so natural. It was so like it was just what I did. You know what I mean? Like I didn't even think about it. It was just like what I love to do, and like it was like a lot more simpler. And I guess I relate to the addiction of it, and like like the immense amount of like focus and the nerdiness of it. I guess I would relate to, because like my early viral videos were more like the goal, bro, was just to impress. Like the goal was to make it, you know what I mean? Like my first I've been releasing, people don't like this stuff isn't out there, but I've been releasing music since I was 10, and all my music was in a way more similar to like my newest album, where it's all deep shit. It was all sad
Huh.
shit. It was all family related, like, and people didn't want to hear about a fucking 11-year-old's struggles. You know what I mean?
Right. So you
So
never you never really like saw yourself, I mean, from that age, like as anything other than a rapper. It sounds like you had that.
yeah, it was my first thing I ever, at first it was like did start out as like poetry and like a diary almost, but I was simultaneously like obsessed with rap. So it was a very like natural trajectory. And then it took form in like the freestyles and the rap like getting into the technical shit, just cuz it seemed like that's what people were impressed by. And I was into that too, like I grew up on I grew up on, I'm trying to think of like who else technically. I feel like M was really the one technically, like the technical aspect of, because everyone else I listened to was like, I was really into like Jay, I was really into MF Doom, I was really into like the Roots. I was, it wasn't so like technical. The other guys I was like listening to, but I think I just fell into a thing of like, people wanted this from me, so I'm like, fuck it, I want to become the best. So I just like kind of got obsessed with it. And I think I'm obviously like a lot more grown now, but I feel like my passion is the same. Like my obsession with it is just the same. Like it's very much my life is this. It's very
Yeah.
much comes after it. So yeah.
Yeah. Any like I mean, once you start getting more and more into the public eye, is there anything kind of unexpected that hit you that you're like, I didn't like, challenges that you're like, I didn't see that coming, or things that you face that.
Um For sure. I also feel like at that age when you're young, like everything is new. So everything is like, how the fuck do I handle this? Or like everything feels bigger maybe than it is because it's happening for the first time. Um and a lot of my firsts were music related, like was traveling for the first time because of music. I was a fucking virgin when I started getting some, so all my like first things, I didn't know how to handle women. I didn't know how to handle what success looked like. I didn't grow up you know, with a lot of money, or I didn't really have like, like an example of like what success should look like and not be a piece of shit. You know what I mean? Like I only knew movies. Um so like I don't know, it can be dangerous, like being like a young kid and getting like notoriety, and people go from like not caring about you to like excited about you, and it can definitely like boost your ego and turn you into like an asshole. And I'm lucky to like I met my manager when I was um 17, and I guess he was like the first like man that I met that like had success, but like was super nice to the waiters, and which was just such a nice guy, and success so didn't define him. And I was lucky to have have that, I guess. But I mean, bro, everything was new. I was like definitely um being around like celebrities or whatever was definitely, I never felt comfortable. Like I always felt I would get mad at myself, like, why can't I just like not be nervous? I was just nervous with everything. I was just a nervous
I
kid.
f- I feel like sometimes maybe they are too. They just maybe they a lot of them been around it a little bit more, and but that I feel like that has to happen to everybody, right? But so you've built like a pretty loyal and really nice sized fan base with no like real label backing. Um, so talk to me about like that choice and the struggles, or if there weren't any, like what that thought process was.
Yeah, so I mean, I'm just an internet kid, dude. Like I mean, I was doing a lot of like local shit. Like I would go to like events in Boston, or like try to rap for people on the street, and like just try to prove to people and just show that like um I don't know, this white kid had something to say. And I was lucky to be around like different groups of people, and which had who had more of a story, more things to say, older people. And like it was a big thing for me, um of gaining their respect, right? But at the end of the day, at that moment, like everything was, uh when stuff started happening for me, it wasn't a local thing. I was never like Boston's boy. Like it was everything, like um everything was just like on the internet. What was the question?
I was asking like you've built a
Oh,
damn empire without label backing. So I was just wondering like if yeah.
yeah, yeah. It was real natural, bro. Like just releasing stuff on the I didn't have any like I didn't have any connections. And then I guess like when I was 17, I started getting a couple like labels interested, and it just felt like I wasn't ready. And I felt like I could kind of tell that it was a little bit of bullshit of like I remember Interscope tried to sign me, and it was like some people who were like related to something M related, and it felt like they were just blowing smoke at me. And I'm like, I know I'm not, like, I haven't proven myself yet for you to be this excited about me. So it felt like unnatural. Um, and I was lucky that I was young. Like I didn't have mouths to feed. I didn't have like rent to pay. So like I
Right.
didn't. So that shit kind of like freaked me out. So I just continued building my own base, and like, dude, the music is so personal, and like it's so personal to me that uh building a fan base kind of just like happened natural because of how open I was about my life. And yeah, I had one, and I never wanted to sign. Um and basically, like, Atlantic was trying to sign me for a while, and we kept saying no. They kept coming back, no, kept coming back, and it showed how much, like, they wanted to. So so this one album, Pink is Better, I did it through a major, and I'm happy I did, because I can kind of, like, see the difference a bit. But man, to be back, like, everything in my own hands now, like, I just enjoy it. It's just what I'm meant to do. It's just like, I everything, like, comes from me. Like, the no one is giving me songs, no one is, like, giving me video ideas. No, it's all, like, generated from me. And I don't say that in a way of, like, all artists should write their own treatments, or all artists, but, like, that's what I do, and it doesn't make sense to have, like, so many cooks in the kitchen, and it just confuses things. And I just think that I'm happy that I did that for, like, this album, for Pink is Better. But uh it definitely didn't, like, help me. And if anything, I do feel like it kind of slowed me down. And it's just what I'm supposed to be doing, is having my own independent thing.
I feel you. It's definitely I agree with that, by the way. And I obviously, just looking at how things are sort of shifting from an artist standpoint. Do you have like a moment, or do you get them routinely of like that fuck I feel like I made it, or I did something moments like this I've been obviously in the past few weeks have probably been wild watching your numbers explode and stuff like that. But do you routinely feel that, or is that just like, and then I saw your post today, it's like, well, I got to get back to work.
Yeah. Yeah. I really never have that moment. I remember, like, two moments of early on. Early on, I was in, like, Hollywood or some shit for the first time, and I was, like, on this rooftop. I did not have a name, like, no one knew me. But and I remember just the idea of being in Hollywood, and I was on this rooftop, and I remember being like, "Damn, like, I did it." And then literally a second later, I was like, "No, you didn't, bro. No one knows who you are. Like, you're here on someone else's dime. You're broke." Like, so that lasted a second. And then the only other moment I remember is the Between Somewhere tour, which was, like, my first like, really successful headlining tour. And that was the moment. I think I was 19 or 20, maybe. Um, and that was just the first time where I was selling out shows, in different, like, around America. And that was the moment that was like, oh, I think this is, like, my living. Like, I think I turned it into a career. But ever since then, like, signing to a major could feel like a bit, it didn't really, to me. What's happening now could feel like a next level. But I just feel, I don't know, I do feel like, even though I started young, I maybe I didn't realize this in the moment, but I'm lucky that things have kind of been, a slow incline, rather than, like, happening so quickly, because I have taken time to, like, learn certain things, to get used to certain things. And there was never, like, just this crazy boom that everything changed. And even though I wanted that at some point, I'm, like, happy that it didn't. And I'm happy that it, like, doesn't continue. Like, I'm super excited about, obviously, what's happening right now. But my day to day is the same, bro. Like, I'm just working and working on new music, working on videos. And it's what my life has been for a while, so it doesn't feel so brand new.
As far as like, and obviously you've been doing it for a while, as far as like your creative process, just a couple questions on that. Like, do you i- in coming up with something, just what sparks your mind? Is it a lyric? Is it a beat? Is it a feeling? Where how do you get the wheels going?
Um, I feel like it's, like, different every time. Well, not every time, but it depends. Um, I think, and it depends on the song. It usually starts with, like, an idea, like, a something I notice about my life, or oh, this is like interesting, like an interesting concept I want to like talk about. Um, and then I put it on like the back burner or whatever. And then when I hear the right music or the right chords, it'll bring it out of me. Um, it's a lot of stuff like that's back there that like sometimes I forget about, and then certain chords will like bring it up. But I usually like to start the real creative process with the music because I feel like just music is magic and it just will tell me what I need to say or what I need to do or and it's incredible, bro. Like it's I've like literally like heard certain like certain chords that like will awaken a memory that I forgot that ever happened. So I kind of just like try to listen to that voice and like be inspired when I make music rather than trying to like force it out. But there's definitely moments of like writing freestyles or whatever where I'm like just writing, and like trying to get a flow going. But usually when it comes to the making of the music, like the albums, I try to let the music like do the talking.
Yeah, no, and that I think that kind of shows too. I mean, well, you're known for like rapid fire, and a lot of the stuff that you do, you're really good at it. So, do you ever write with like performance in mind, or does that part kind of come secondhand?
That part, yeah, comes secondhand. Like I love to perform. It's actually like my favorite thing to do, but I always feel like if you try to jump too ahead, it's gonna get in the way of like the true magic. Like, if I was like trying to think of videos before the song, or like think of the marketing before the song, or think of the that might be smart like business wise, but for me I just feel like you could lose a bit of the like magic. you
No, I
know
feel you.
so I kind of don't try sometimes when I'm writing or like I hear a song I'm like, damn, this is gonna be crazy to perform, but I don't like to really think about it when I'm making it.
Do you have any like when you're like weird like quirks or habits in studio that like I need a black coffee and I need three blonde girls over there, shit like that, just weird shit that like, you know what I'm saying? Like the
I've definitely had phases. um Now it's a bit more calm. Now I usually like to be alone. um I usually, if I'm writing, I'm usually like pacing around, walking. I don't like to write so much. Like I this is weird. Like maybe I rely on the like magic of things maybe too much, but like I'll try to remember things, not write. And if I forget it, I'm like, I was meant to forget it. Wasn't good enough. But if something is like catchy enough or fire enough, I feel like it'll like stick with me. Um So I don't like to be like on my phone too much or like, writing set in stone shit on a paper. Eventually like I'll like once I have like a verse or whatever, I'll like try to remember and like record it into my phone. Um but no, I mean, I usually have some form of caffeine around, and I usually have some form of snack, whether it be an apple or a protein bar. But um other than that, uh for now it's pretty calm. I hope it stays calm.
and a hoodie.
And
You
a
got
hoodie is always a hoodie. Yes, yes,
is
that is
there
true.
a producer that you haven't worked with that like you got eyes on that you'd love to, or
Um, I mean, there's guys. I mean, there's so many people. Um,
because I'm gonna ask you about like influences, and you've got crazy collabs too with some, you've got JID and Tech and recently Ren, and there's been very different sort of collabs that you've done that. So I was just kind of curious, like if there's anybody that you haven't worked with, and just sort of would be super cool, or maybe you have sights on.
I think in general, like, it's something I want to do more of, like locking in with different producers and them like bringing certain shit out of me. Like I low key think like I could do some sick shit with Metro one day. I love like Earl's production. I love like Griselda type production. And I'm cool with some of those guys. So I I've done, and I have some songs I haven't released yet. That is more in that world. But I'm really down for like, anything. Like I think one thing that like maybe has hindered me um in my growth, but like it keeps me excited. So like I have to do it. It's like I do a lot of like experimenting. Like last year, my music was completely different. The year before that, my music was like completely different. And I think that can like confuse some people, which is like understandable. But I just like the idea of like getting with a funk producer, getting with like like a Skrillex or some shit, then getting with like a Metro, then getting with like a real bad man, like a Griselda type
Yeah,
vibes. That's the shit that like excites the fuck out of me. So, um, I feel like what I want to do soon is like do maybe like little projects or like little moments with certain producers, and just see what comes out of me.
that's dope. Yeah, that's. I mean, my platform is not near as big as yours, but I'll try to put the word out, and we'll see what we can do.
Well,
Do you
dude, you
have like?
reacting for a minute, and I really do appreciate it. Like I know, maybe like a lot of artists say this, but like it's fucking dope to watch people like watch your stuff um and especially when there's like a unique perspective about it, because I feel like maybe there's some people who kind of just like go through the motions, but it seems like you are really like you're locked in, like you're not act it doesn't feel I don't get acting vibes from you. So, and at the end of the day, yeah, you could be fucking introducing mad people to my shit, so I do appreciate it.
Yeah, no doubt, no doubt. If you had like a dream collab that would surprise people, like not like M, that's not very surprising, but like that would surprise people. Who would you collab with?
um I would love to work with Baby Keem. I would love to work with Earl. I'm like a huge Cardi fan. I don't know if we'd make a good song though. I feel like we wouldn't. So, um, trying to think of people who I make like a good song. Like I love the majority of what I listen to is like bedroom pop type shit. So like I would love to work with like Claro or like Pink Panthers, like somebody like that. Um, yeah.
Do you have a of like your rap influences? Do you have any sort of verse that you go back to that made you just grab a pen and paper and that sticks in your head?
Damn, that's a great question. I don't think I've ever been asked that. Uh like an all-time one is tough. Like honestly, like every time like the shit that Jid just dropped like made me wanna like rap. Like so Jid is one, Earl is one. Every time he like drops something, it just inspires me. I'm trying to think like all time. I mean, like it's tough, bro. Like I was obsessed with Lloyd Banks' Hunger for More 2, I think that album. And that's a really good album. I think that's the one I'm thinking of. Um and I remember like listening to
Throwback.
yeah, that one to make it like this. Um but Thug is always really inspiring to me. Um yeah, yeah, those to name a few.
What would you say, like, if you had to say like the sort of the on-screen, music video token versus your day-to-day real life dude? What would you say is like the biggest differentiator that like people might not understand about you?
It's funny, people always say like I didn't expect you to be like this, and I'm like, my music video like, dude, my music videos, I'm getting, like, attacked by a dog. Like, you think I'm just gonna be attacked by a dog when you meet me? Like, I don't know what that person is. I don't know who that person is, but for me, like, um
You're like, I got 15,000 rubber ducks. You think I own that shit? Yeah.
yeah. No, I think I'm in the studio a lot, like, I am making music the majority of the time, writing or recording. Um And I think I get like a lot of my maybe like energy frustrations or like uh yeah, energy out in the music that I think like some people are like shocked. They're like, "You're chiller than I thought." I'm like, and I don't feel chill. Like my brain doesn't feel like it's ever chilling. I always feel like I'm tweaking out about something. But I guess on the outside, maybe people think I'm like
Well,
calm.
we're expecting you to speak normally in double time in multisyllabic rap verses,
Yeah,
as an average human. Now you you are
one
pretty chill.
maybe one day I'll be on that level, but I hope not. I do like to I do like to separate it. Like I don't really you know, I don't I don't really like talk about um my career and shit in person. Like I like to go out and have fun. I don't like to I don't like to find girls who like my music or like are fans. Like I like to keep things like separated and just try to like live a normal like 26-year-old kid's like life as much as I can.
Yeah, you definitely, especially with the girls part of it, wanna keep that natural. It's probably better that they don't know,
Yeah.
so that you can learn a little bit about them, right? Except for just chasing something, but um, which kind of makes me think. How do you kind of compartmentalize, like when you brought that up, like just this sort of steady success curve that you're on with like mental health, because that can be dangerous, when you kind of counterbalance the two or misadjust that, you see people kind of falter in that sense. How do you Is it
Yeah.
hitting the gym, and just, what do you do to keep your mental straight?
I mean the gym definitely I like hit the gym every day. That is like my one time a day of like shutting my brain off. Um, but dude, I'm super lucky to like have my mom and have like my sister, and they really like they're like the most important things to me, and they like really remind me of like who I am, and I try to like talk to them as much as I can because it just like yeah, like as natural this was for me, like as much as like Token is Ben, success can be confusing. And I feel like if I didn't have them around, maybe I would just like, I don't know. I don't know. But I try to call them a lot and have them around. I recently like started inviting like my mom to video shoots because it's like, you can't act around your mom. Your mom will like call you out on certain shit. And like after losing my dad, it's like you just realize how important that shit is, and like it just makes you like be like, why don't I do that? Like this is the most important thing. Like, and I just don't want to like have any regrets. So, you know, I as much as I could say, oh man, I'm just humble and I just, I keep real ones around me. I do keep real ones around me, but the most important thing and the most helpful thing has been like having like my mom and my sister.
That's dope, man. Dude, I get that too, and I'm well older than you, but like last weekend I was off topic. I was back in San Diego, back where I'm from. We were moving my parents into like assisted living because they both have like different issues going on health wise, and they can't really take care of themselves. And it's like, it kind of reminds me that I don't really live in the state anymore, but like I need to keep phone calls going and keep, because you never really do know. It's a good reminder. I'm gonna shoot just some random ass rapid fire shit at you, just for fun, that I wrote down. So, craziest DM you ever got?
Crazy. I mean, I mean, there's so many. Um, I
It's probably mine. My bro, can we talk?
no, no. I'm trying to think of one that's just I don't know. I have ones that like of people who know like way too much information about me. I used to have there was this young girl who had fake accounts of me, my mom, my girl, my sister. It was a whole era of my life, and she like was fucking up my life. Like, dude, she did like I still, and this was like a young girl. I still don't know how she did this shit. But one day, this isn't a DM, but this is like maybe
That's
the
homework, is what that is.
yeah, yeah. But this is like um the craziest like fan related thing is like this young girl somehow I still don't know how she did it. Basically, I woke up. This was back when I was I living with my mom? Yeah, it was like my house I grew up in basically. Um I woke up out of the sleep with like 7 firemen in front of my bed, and they were like, "We heard there was a fire." You know, they were like, "Cops there too. We heard there was a fire. Like, what's going on?" And I'm like fresh out of sleep, and I'm like, "What?" And I forget how, but somehow this girl knew where I lived and convinced them that there was a fire happening on my house, and it was really fucking awkward, dude. Because in like 4 a.m., I'm literally like, I wake up and it was starting to like be shown that this wasn't like a legit thing, and I think they were realizing it. And I was like, I'm like a rapper. Like, could you have gone tricked by like a fan? And they did, and then they just left. That's one of
Yo,
the
dude, that's scary, man. You got to be careful with your info, dude. That's wild.
that hasn't
Uh,
happened. But I don't know where that girl is now. But it
she knows
was,
where you are.
yeah. I fucking hope.
What's one line you're most proud of writing?
Damn, bro. I do really like the line. I made a 10 do a split. I guess she's now a 5. I do like that line. But
As a bowler, I like that line too.
yeah. Oh, nice. Oh, you're a bowler. Hell yeah. All right, I'll leave it there then.
Um, what's a song of yours that people might not know or that didn't get the love that you might have thought that you think is underrated?
Um, I think the song "Sip" off "Pink Is Better" is like an underrated song. It's like one of my favorite songs I've ever made.
Nice. And lastly, last thing I wrote down, just who's the first person you play your music for always?
Um, I usually send it to like my producer Knox, who like produced this whole album, who's like an amazing talent.
I,
I said,
Maybe somebody like not like related or helpful in the music, just like I want to show you this.
oh, I usually don't, but um, I like to play it for like I like to get like a girl's opinion, because I don't know. I make pretty male. I make music for males. I've learned. I mean, maybe some of my like love songs or whatever girls like, but I gauge the levels of how scared does this song make her. And if she's not that scared, I'm like, okay, maybe this song has some legs and could be a bit bigger.
Yeah, some of your I always some with some of the songs I sometimes preface the audience with he might say some shit that's dirty that might offend you. He's not a bad dude. He's just talking shit. Uh, but
Yeah.
um, that's funny, man. Well, that's kind of all I got. I wrote down some questions and I wanted to get some into your brain a little bit. I think that, and I told you I'd get in and out in 40 minutes. I should tell my girlfriend the same thing. Anyways,
Good
but
luck.
dude, I appreciate you for jumping on with me. I hope that I'm gonna run this back and I'm gonna edit it. I hope that it didn't get too glitchy and it worked out okay. Otherwise, like I'm gonna be real mad at the
We'll do
software.
it. We can, if it goes bad, we can do it again.
Just run it back. I
Yeah.
appreciate you, my guy. Um,
Give or
all
else
right,
it's
man. Well, have a great rest of your day, guys. This is Token. Make sure you go like, you go subscribe, go check out his new album. It's fire. I'm still gonna do a full album review, although I've covered a few of the songs already. I'm gonna run it anyways. But yeah, go support and yeah, we'll keep it rolling from here, man. I definitely appreciate your time. That was cool of you to jump on. It's been really great to see your success. Just I know you've been at it for a long time, but like I see things kind of taking off in different areas that I'm super super stoked for. So
Thank you, man. And for real, like I mean it. I appreciate the support. You've done tons of reactions. I don't even know how many, and it's fucking sick, and I really do appreciate it, dude.
Nobody. All right, man. Well, have a good rest of your day. And we'll talk to you.
All right, yes, sir. You
We'll
too,
see.
man. Peace out.
Guys, real quick, if you haven't already, make sure that you go support my guy Token, please. Yo, you can run through his catalog. Literally, click on anything. It's all fire. Um, so I'm gonna link it down below. I'm gonna link his channel down below. So click around, have some fun with it. But go like, go subscribe, please. Love to have you guys here as well. Please like, comment down below. Make sure you subscribe. Appreciate it very much. It does help the channel. And we'll keep it moving here. Y'all have a wonderful rest of your day. We'll talk to you. Thanks for stopping by.